Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends of all ages. Welcome to another exciting race here in our continuing coverage of the WallKicks Sanity Tournament 2021. Joining me in the booth today is Dane8373 as well as Jax Refi. We have Scott G239 joining me on tracking. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to our wonderful commentators and get this race underway. Have a great race, guys.
Hello, everyone. This is Dane. I'm joined by Jax Refi. Jax, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good. Now, I'll be honest, I was pleased with how I turned out 5-3 in the Crosskeys tournament, so I'm looking forward to seeing our top 16 and seeing how they fare in this, is it a best of 3 or is it best of 1? I can't remember.
These will be best of 3 for the round of 16, so yes, whoever wins, this is game 1, so whoever wins will take a 1-0 advantage, but the other person will still be in it.
That's good to know. So, I mean, this with Crosskeys, with how volatile it is, you're not too, you're always gonna, how the rando bounces is always there. But this isn't necessarily a do or die situation. You can, you make a mistake, you'll be fine, but gotta just obviously want to try to get that win. So I don't know. I'm trying to vamp right now. I'm failing apparently.
Yeah, it definitely is important to get that 1-0 because like you were saying, basically anything, there's so much variance in Crosskeys, so you can absolutely just lose a race because there was a 50-50 decision in the middle of the race and your opponent made the right one and you made the wrong one. So it's always nice to have a little bit of a cushion.
Yeah. So, but we will certainly be seeing both of these runners, both tstew and WallKicks are, top within the community, so this should be a very interesting race seeing how both of them fare.
Yeah, tstew was able to finish 7-1 in the 8 rounds of Swiss, so he did not have to play in the play-in game, just made it straight into brackets, whereas WallKicks finished 6-2, but then was able to qualify by having a fast enough time in the qualifiers. So it's kind of like a brief respite from someone like WallKicks who just had to play a do-or-die match, now has a best-of-3 series for the first time this tournament, whereas tstew's just kind of been sitting back ever since finishing 7-1.
Absolutely. So now, do you have... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say our tracker, Scott G's, provided us with some statistics for this match. So both the opponent win percentage for tstew was 500, so same amount of wins as losses for tstew's opponents, and WallKicks was 0.625, so a little bit tougher on average. And then for records opponents versus who were over 500, that means more wins than losses, tstew was 5-0 and WallKicks was 4-2. And then tstew has beaten one player who has made it into the bracket, whereas WallKicks went 0-2 against players who were in the bracket. So it would be a nice opportunity for WallKicks to get his first win here, or tstew to continue with that. So it's nice little teaser statistics. I mean, you can pretty much throw them all out the window for Crosskeys, but it gives you a nice little window into how these runners' tournaments went.
Absolutely. So while we're waiting, any thoughts on your usual, how you usually start a Crosskeys race? Do you prefer going to Link's house, Sanctuary? What do you like to do?
My general start is I start at Link's house, do the hula hands, and then I'll try to check as many enemy drop packs as possible to try to get a nice early bomb. And then I'll try to prioritize doing drop downs, so I'll go to the Uncle Life drop down relatively fast, and then go over to CAC and do all the drop downs in that area, except for Sanctuary drop down, unless I get a glove, because that one's just not easy to route in if you don't have a glove.
Yeah, I usually do Sanctuary and then try to make my way over to the one where the useless fairy is normally at Houlihan and kind of go from there. But we have got the final countdown, so 10 seconds remaining, and good luck to both tstew and WallKicks, and may the random number gods be in your favor.
Yeah, we'll get to see what these runners choose for their starts. And we've got a difference already where tstew is doing the Sank start, like you mentioned, and WallKicks is going to do the, starting at Link's house, probably going to set up a Houlihan. Though sometimes when you get bombs, you might want to check this light hype cave entrance right away.
And which is what WallKicks is doing. We saw Sanctuary at the Lost Wood Shack. I know WallKicks, what he likes to do after doing this check if he has bombs, is he's going to fake flipper here, go see what the magic hut is, and then from there head over and do the Houlihan spot.
Yeah, and there we see a bow in the back of Escape on tstew's side. So those 3 bombs in the Lost Woods paying off pretty nicely. tstew able to just jump right in there and get the back of Escape items.
Also of importance, the small key to Swamp Palace.
Yeah, that's always one of the more prized small keys because that's the only one you need to do Swamp Palace, and it can hide pretty much anywhere. Ooh, there's Hype Cave at the Witch's Hut, so that's pretty nice for people who do Houlihan stars, but looks like tstew's actually going to go over there anyway, so hope we have to get that as well.
My friend TJ Maelstrom would call this Johnny 2 bombs, and Johnny's got the deals today. Lamp, shovel, and ether.
That early lamp is quite important in Crosskeys because sometimes those dark connectors can be your logical access to, say, Death Mountain or to the Dark World or something. So definitely nice to get that early for logical implications. Runners at this caliber, they can do those dark connectors in the dark, but it's just you don't always want to break logic early like that. So it's nice to know when you find a dark connector that's available. And there's a glove on Lumberjack, so pretty nice early item so far.
Very nice early items. Yeah, glove and lamp are 2 of those items that you could spend a long time searching, or just boom, hey, right away, here you go.
Yeah, it's really nice to get the glove as early as possible in Crosskeys because there's a lot of one-off glove-locked entrances, like the one over by Desert Palace or the one over by the Ice Rod Cave area or the one where you go to normally get to Death Mountain that if you don't get the glove till late, you have to orphan those and just come back to them in like a really long loop later. So it's really nice to get the glove this early for both these runners.
WallKicks doing a Houlihan and getting some cash, which be nice for like bottle vendor and other things, but looks like he's going to continue to go south.
Yeah, I think this is just following that early glove. You want to knock out some of these south entrances before you go to Kakariko, because sometimes it's nice to get like as many items as possible for doing your Kakariko dip, because there can sometimes be stuff in there that you need items to do. So with the glove, these aren't really going to get that much better at later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually with the South Shore routes, you would like to wait until you find a glove, so having it, now you're, more likely to go south because you have it. Gonna see WallKicks set up a bomb jump here. Nicely done.
Yep, took a free entrance here. This isn't in logic, but you can do it, and it's actually a pretty nice entrance, that top of Death Mountain. Looks like WallKicks gonna do some of the stuff up here.
Mm-hmm.
Though you have to be careful whenever you come up here with just the 1 heart.
Well, there's fairies in that so he'll be back to 3.
Yeah, it's really nice to find those fairy entrances in the Death Mountain when you're on 3 hearts. You'll oftentimes just see runners never use these fairies, but the main exception is this early Death Mountain, because you never know when those cabbages can just ruin your day.
Okay, Agate Tower was at the front of Hyrule Castle, but with only 6 bombs and no other real 1 arrow, so really no way to go in and get the 1 item that you can get. There's Blind's Hut on Death Mountain. Yeah,
definitely. That's already 2 5-item Ks for WallKicks. And I think what tstew was trying to do is like maybe check to see if you can get some arrows from either this drop down or the tree pole, and then maybe go into Agate Tower then. But if not, then just wait for it.
Mire small, Skullwood's big, Cane of Burna, and Blind's Hut for WallKicks. And then last item, well, there's those sticks that would be nice for tstew. Is this multi-world? Can he just pass those over to tstew?
I mean, I don't know if he'd want to, because he's trying to beat tstew right now.
Fair point.
And we see that small key on the top of Spectacle Rock. And those out in the open small keys can be quite annoying, because you almost always want to come back to get them, but they're also almost always not the small keys you're looking for.
And
so
there.
Sorry, we haven't found the old man escape yet, so we've got 1 chance here over at this vanilla entrance. Otherwise, the old man is going to be in Tower of Hera today.
Yep, and so it is.
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting because we have the lamp, so we might just find that connector somewhere. But you really like to get that save and quit point when you come up here. But unfortunately for WallKicks, he's not going to be able to do that today.
Yeah, I mean, if you get like Sanctuary in a nasty spot like at Hyrule Castle, you like to have Old Man as soon as possible to have an extra starting point. But with it being in with it being in Lost Woods, you're fine. Ganon is we're Aga locked on Ganon.
Yeah, and that can set up some pretty terrifying situations because those Aga Tower small keys can hide anywhere, and we know we're going to need both of them to beat the game, but literally all they lock is just beating Ganon.
WallKicks buying bombs. Only had 2, so that usually works out. That's part of the reason why you usually end up doing Houlihan. Because a lot of times early on you need the money in order to get through. But we found Turtle Rock Basement. And there's a book.
And there's the back of Old Man entrance there over on WallKick's side at Desert. He got spit out of the Desert useless through Spectacle Rock left, which is actually pretty nice for that routing. Sometimes the Desert Palace useless entrance is actually useful when it's really early. And we also see the flippers there on tstew's side, which are in pretty nice find now.
As well as a mail upgrade.
Yeah, mail upgrades in Crosskeys can be a bit of a mixed bag because if you don't have the Moon Pearl or the Mirror, you'll take a lot of Death Warps often, but they can impede that.
All right, Turtle Rock West is at, I think that was Curiosity Shop.
Yes, that was. Yeah, it made a lot of sense for WallKicks. He wanted to end his route right there, so just immediately take that connector and not go anywhere else after that. He wanted to get back to Sank because you still haven't checked this drop down.
Yeah, and WallKicks about to get his bow.
And Uncle giving $300 tonight, which is pretty nice because they have the glove and flippers. So even if you haven't found the flippers yet, you know Zora is in Logic. So it's always nice to get some early money when that's available.
Yep. All right, so we haven't seen Useless Fairy, we haven't seen Bat, and we haven't seen the Well yet. And we're down to 3 drops, 2 in Kakariko and 1 at the Pyramid.
Yeah, so if Kakariko Well is not vanilla, then these runners are going to have to wait a little bit to get it because it's either going to be locked by Ganon or locked by the hammer / mirror plus access to the hammer pegs area.
Okay, there's another shop. WallKick's about to get the information of Ganon being Aga-locked. And finally, we're into Kakariko and all of whatever goodness might be in here. Starting with Sahasrahla. Thieves Town is Green Pendant. There's Quake. And Map to Desert.
Yeah, nothing too exciting. That Quake Medallion might come up for an entrance or 2 later, and that Map of Desert could be nice if we ever are looking for it, but not too much from Saha today. And WallKicks gets over to this laser bridge. He has the Cane of Burna, which would help if not for having no magic.
Yeah, small problem there.
And also, something else that we got was the book over on Laser Bridge, which is a bit annoying for WallKicks because he was already over in the desert area. Some nice laser skips there by WallKicks, able to get those items pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And we found GT in Kakariko over on tstew's side. We can only get 2 items. One of them is the boots, though, so that makes it now 3 items they can get in here.
Well, it's a map to Swamp. I was looking at WallKicks. What was the drop down for the well?
I didn't get that one.
Fire Rod!
That's a nice GT there, getting the boost and then using those boosts to immediately get the Fire Rod. And looks like Useless Fairy was at the Kakariko Well drop.
All right. There's Desert West. With those boots, tstew is going to go ahead and go in.
Yeah, there's
two items available here, and then two potential connectors. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on the other, Dane.
Nope, I was going to say the exact same thing you just said.
So
We'll see if he elects to follow the connectors or not, or just wants to get the items.
Just compass there. And sticks. Looks like he's gonna check the eastern entrance first.
Yeah, it makes some sense with the save and quit point being as close to Kakariko as it is. You can always just save and quit back there. And also just got spit out back into Kakariko, so right back where we were.
I always hate that. You're hoping that this connector actually leads to something. It's like, oh, this was nothing.
Yeah, because if you had elected to just skip that connector, then you save a little bit of time. Though with getting the two items, it's not too bad. But yeah, you do lose a little bit of time if you just check both of them.
And there's Hyrule Castle, so a lot of connectors in the area. Now, with this being Key Sanity, only the first chest is in logic.
Yeah, but with the back of Sanctuary being where it was, the runner's probably not going to worry about that today, since they already were able to get the bag of escape items.
Yep. You're just going to go and get the 3 in the front, take a Death Warp, and then probably get the one... Well, you are going to get the one at Dark Cross because you have the lamp.
Yep, it's a nice early lamp will make that item. You'll be able to clear out all of Hyrule Castle really quickly, which is nice. They even have a lot of nice weapons to get through this escape sequence.
Both will have plenty of arrows.
WallKicks getting the good news about the early boots in Ganon's tower.
And then you're going to get his Fire Rod out for that.
So I'm interested to see what if we're going to find any like early dungeons over here in Kakariko, because we've knocked out a good amount of entrances. We got to find that Moon Pearl really to give us a lot more access to stuff.
And just bombs. So now tstew's working on that Death Warp. Yeah, it'll be interesting. We've got a lot of items. With all the Turtle Rock entrances we found so far, I'd be very interested to find a Cane of Samaria. Because it kind of feels like you've got Lamp, you've got Fire Rod. Cane would give you the ability to do a lot in all the Turtle Rock entrances we have.
Yep, even without getting any more keys, they could use the Cane to get the Crystal Roller room, and then they could get like the Chain Chomp room in Logic, though, because right now they could get it out of Logic by bomb jumping in that Turtle Rock right. So right now they don't have any more items in Logic and Turtle Rock. But if, like you said, if they get the Cane and some keys, then they'll go from they'll get 2 at first, and then if you get 3 keys, you can go all the way through the front and get all 3 items.
Speaking of keys, there's a small key to Pod, and then tstew's gonna Death Warp.
Yeah, Pod small keys are one of the ones that you like a little bit more than, like, say, a Meyer small key or Skullwood small key, because you're going to need a good amount of those Pod small keys. You need 5 to have a nice full clear. You could technically full clear with 4, but no one does that because it's slow. And then if you get 3, then you can do most of it just skipping 2 chests. So you really want to get as many as possible.
While we're doing that, tstew found the words. Bumper exit is Hyrule Castle West. So that's one of the connectors that you want to find because it leads to something important. Usually you're also looking for Turtle Rock Bridge, you're looking for Floating Island. Oh, hey! There's Floating Island!
Yeah, those are 2 really good connectors, because the one on top of Bumper, that gives you access to most of the Dark World, because like some of the things are mid-slocked if you only find connectors to the South Dark World. But with the flippers and that connector, they basically, once they have the Moon Pearl, they have access to basically all of the Dark World. And then this one, it gives you a lot of access to Death Mountain once you have the mirror.
just a shop there. There's Meyer.
Yeah, they just need the Moon Pearl to really get in there because they have the boots so they can actually get in there and do some stuff. And here's Hookshot Cave.
I'd almost consider... Now, the logic will not consider a bunny revival, but, I mean, that doesn't prevent our runners. I might have thought about doing it in Meyer since you've got a lot of stuff in there, but at the same time, you've got a lot more things you need to do that are in kind of the Sphere 1 and whatnot, so I can see why tstew was like, I'll come back here later.
Yeah, because with 4 hearts, it would be a pretty quick death warp, even with the blue mail. And with the 1 Meyer small key, it would be pretty nice to route through it.
There's an Ice Palace big key on WallKicks side at where the shop usually is.
Yeah, it looks like WallKicks is taking the different approach where he's not going to follow the connector. He's going to clear out all of Kakariko first and then make a decision about which connectors he wants to follow.
Yeah, a lot of times you will see runners kind of do either like what I would call a breadth first approach, where you kind of scour all of Sphere 1, see what you can find, and then kind of start dipping connectors. Because, like with normal rando, Sphere 1 can be very important in terms of, what you have access to. Like that flute, for example.
Yeah, that flute actually could come up for us now, because that's our first logical access to the mountain. Because in Crosskeys, flute on its own it oftentimes won't give you anything. If you get limits 2, it'll give you Meyer if you don't have a connector there. And then now it's giving us access to Death Mountain. Though we've already seen all of that and know that it isn't anything at this point. But maybe a hook shot would help us with that, or a mirror.
Mm-hmm. Also, it just helps with general travel, especially like I was just talking about with the Sphere 1 checks.
Yeah, absolutely. Given what WallKicks has left to check, this flute makes his light world checks a lot easier, because he's got the eastern area, he's got the Ice Rod Cave, Mini Moldorm Cave area, and those are both really nice to flute to.
Well, you were asking about dungeons. There's Pod.
Yeah, and with 1 small key, that's going to put a decent amount of the items in logic with the bow, too. So we got the 2 on the bow lock side, plus the 2 in the center, and then this one here.
There's the cane.
That's a really nice find. So that cane is either going to be Moon Pearl locked or it's going to be Hookshot locked, because they can't get to that Chain Chomp chest right now, and the other entrance to Turtle Rock, they couldn't get there without the cane itself. So that's an excellent find for tstew.
Was that Harabig I just saw? Yeah, it was.
Yep. Yes, Chad asking about the laser door. We saw the laser door. It's the curiosity shop in the Dark World. So that's why I'm saying that it'll be Moon Pearl locked, because if you have access to that, then Chain Chomp's in logic. But we've already seen... you wouldn't be able to get there from the front without the cane, and the right side is in the light world, but you need the hook shot to traverse across that in logic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can get there, but you need the Moon Pearl to, in logic, get to the item.
Yeah, because even though you can walk there, you would still have to bunny revive in order to do it. To Triple Factorial's point, you could logically go through Hyrule Castle West, walk down, get to Turtle Rock West, but without the Moon Pearl, you're not going to be able to do anything by the logic until, be able to do that. So, anywho, moving on.
Yeah, WallKicks just got a pretty unfortunate piece of a heart there. Had already set up the Death Warp and then got a heart refill, so had to go back for these spikes a little bit. Sometimes you get those unfortunate heart refills.
Either that or like a fairy in a bottle. That will always screw up your Death Warps.
Okay, I think this will be our first look at this drop-down, which will let us know if the well is locked by Ganon or not. It is not, so the well is just locked by the hammer or mirror plus mitts or connector to hammer pegs.
also means that I think it's Lost Wood Shack is going to be at Pyramid, so there will be one item there.
I believe it's actually Magic Bat. We saw the Thieves drop down over at Hyrule Castle drop down.
You were right. You were right. There's Spike Cave.
So Chad asking about Lumberjack. The Lumberjack drop down is Ganon, and the Lumberjack item was Glove. So interesting either way.
It's the race game. Not going to worry about it. I mean, once you find the mirror to be able to get it, I should say.
Yeah, sometimes if you see a nice item up there, like the Moon Pearl or something, it can make you prioritize connectors a little more, because you do rarely get connected over there for your nice item that's up there, but not going to need that compass today.
These two about to find the entrance of Pod. WallKicks going to get the map that... I think that was mapped Pod is what was at the dig spot.
Looks like WallKicks is going to follow some of these connectors. Probably wants to get the desert items. Or no, I guess not. Or no, this is a different entrance to desert. Oh, all three of the desert entrances are in Kakariko, is that? Or no, I'm sorry, it's just the two.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen the middle one yet. I imagine that's what WallKicks will check after this.
Yeah, since he already has the knowledge of seeing it. Because generally when you go through desert, you're not going to do all the connectors. You'll just go get the items and then pick whichever one. Normally the right side one.
And the middle one gets us to Dark World.
So we've seen a decent amount of ways to get to the Dark World with the Hyrule Castle, Desert Palace, and Turtle Rock connectors, but WallKicks not wanting to do any bunny walks today. Still has a lot of Light World stuff that's pretty quick, so it definitely makes a lot of sense.
Especially when you have boots, you're going to be losing time if you try to do a lot of bunny walking where you can't use the boots, and then you find Moon Pearl, and then you lose that time. Lose that time when you could have been running through. So makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. With the loadout they have, it makes a lot of sense to avoid bunny walks because you have the glove and the flippers, so there's a lot of access in the Dark World that a bunny just doesn't have, and plus the boots, like you mentioned, the extra speed. And it also just makes knocking out these Light World checks even faster with the flute and the boots. Because right now, between these two runners, we've seen just about everything except the Eastern Palace area and this area that WallKicks is showing us right now by Ice Rod Cave, plus Mini Mobile Cave. And then Zora as well, Zora's Domain with those flippers.
Also, we got French Vanilla Ice Rod Cave, so I'd be interested to see if WallKicks, after he checks these two entrances, if it doesn't... Oh, wait, can't do water walking because you don't have the Moon Pearl. Duh.
Well, no, you can water walk without the Moon Pearl, and I think we will see WallKicks do that, at least to the Hobo. Though now with this Spiral Cave is really annoying because you absolutely would want to water walk at least to Hobo here. With the flippers, you can't water walk into Zora's Domain for the waterfall thing, but you can. It makes Hobo a lot faster of a check. But oftentimes in Crosskeys, you get a good plan, and then Spiral Cave shows up, and you just have to do it because this could just be the Moon Pearl.
But it said it was a map to Hera.
We've already seen this Spiral Cave bottom. It's just the Light Hype Cave, but which at least that puts you close to Mini Moldorm Cave, so that's not too bad for routing. You do lose the water walk, but it's not too bad. Maybe there'll just be another water walk right here, though you can't really use it from this spot as easily.
Mini Moldorm Cave is the Smiths. tstew, meanwhile, going to take that cane and fire rod and head to right side GT.
Yep, and we know this is not in logic yet, but it could still be a very very good set of items, because we still need, this is locked by 4 small keys and whatever blocking the Cane of Samaria, whether that be the Hookshot or Moon Pearl.
Gonna go ahead and do Tile Room. Heart Container on Lake Hylia Island. And nothing in the shop at Lake Hylia Island.
Yep, so it looks like we got Eastern Palace area probably going to have something for us, unless we're going to have to do something like bunny walking, or maybe Zora could have the answer as well. The good thing about what tstew is doing here is you can just steal the key, because you can full clear the GT basement with 1 key if you do right side first like he's doing, so that's one of the nice benefits of the item setup they've had.
Alright, we got a big key, GT, and an ice rod, and a sword, and bombs, so those 4 Turtle Rock keys are holding quite a bit.
Yeah, that's
GT keys, I should say.
That's some pretty nice finds there, because now we just need the Turtle Rock big key to be able to beat Trinex, and you always like to get an early sword like that, and the GT big key, it's pretty nice to get here specifically because you can just knock out that big chest while you're on your way over here. And WallKicks has found a couple of item caves over here, but not turning up with any real progression.
V-shaped house with another sword.
Definitely will, especially with the boots this early, you really like getting that early sword. It just makes getting around so much easier, and plus there are some dungeons like Skullwoods that you need the sword to progress through, or Agate Tower, which we're going to need to beat today.
Big 20 in Bob's chest. And now time for Ice Armos.
Yeah, it's really nice that having that early bow and the cane and fire rod really just makes this right side bit of a sequence break really nice, because you just get to knock out so much the first time through. And WallKicks finding yet another item cave, and that's the hook shot. So that would put what, and tstew found the mitts, so some pretty good finds there on both sides.
Oh, yeah. Then, to your point, that hook shot puts Cane of Samaria in Logic.
Yeah, hook shot puts Cane of Samaria in Logic, which does not put in what tstew just did in Logic, aside from Tile Room. But it puts more stuff into Turtle Rock into Logic, and it also gives us East Death Mountain, which the hook shot was one of the items that, if it wasn't going to be the Moon Pearl, would make a lot of sense there, because it just gives a decent amount of extra entrances. The mirror would be another one.
Alright, there once was a fish named Zora that gives you flipper if it's in vanilla. In Retrance, they're devils. For 500 shekels, we could get 5 keys instead of 20 bucks. Granted, this is Crosskeys, but not Retrance, so I wanted to do that limerick anyway. But small key to pod. Nice.
Yeah, that doesn't do anything for us logically yet. The pod small keys are 1, 4, 6 are the important numbers for what puts anything into Logic. So we'll see where WallKicks selects to go. I think the Mountain's probably a quick play, though. He looks like he's got other ideas. Oh, he's still got these block rocks here.
Doesn't have anything. Hobo has more cash. And yep, up the mountain we go.
Yeah, and I think that if this East Death Mountain turns up nothing, then that's probably actually pretty good for tstew, because that hookshot giving us the East Death Mountain and the cane, because we could have something like backtracking through Turtle Rock be the answer for the Moon Pearl from Laser Bridge. And who knows when WallKicks will get over to that one check. Though this is another good one, finding Hookshot Cave here. We found the other end of Hookshot Cave in the Dark World, so that would not have been able to get the items from there. But from here, they're in Logic.
Yep. And now T-Stew's going to set up a water walk. Although that was WallKicks that found that cave earlier. Big 20 and hookshot cave.
Yeah, I think T-Stew sets it up. We'll see if he elects to keep it, because once you find this spiral cave, it just kind of throws a wrench in the plans.
Well, yep, he's not going to keep it. He's going for spiral cave and a third sword in hookshot cave.
It is nice in Crosskeys to get the 2 early swords, because if you find yourself get a connector to the top of Hyrule Castle, then you can open up that one Agate Tower entrance. And if you don't find the mirror for a while, and even sometimes if you do, that area can just get pretty orphaned. So you like to knock it all out at once.
One of the dark caves there, and there's Thieves Town.
Yeah, Thieves Town's a good find, because it's basically a 4-item cave at this point without having the big key. Ooh, he's getting a bit bullied by that bluebird, but luckily he's able to survive it.
Alright, third item in Thieves Town. Big key to him.
That's always annoying.
That's always annoying.
Because if you're WallKicks, you know that you're... Okay, that's very good.
Alright, Gabe, that's just rude. Alright? Putting the big key and hammer in Thieves Town.
It was rude, especially the order that it put them there, because they already have the Thieves Town small key. So you get that big key and you're thinking, oh, great, I have next to nothing left to check, and there's some items back here. I'm just going to go for the big checks. But then you hit the hammer and breathe a sigh of relief. But WallKicks actually, he did not pick up the key from the pot, which is, it makes sense if you don't have the hammer. So maybe he came in here, got that big key, and didn't think, oh, I have the hammer now, I should get that key for the big chest. But we'll see how he remedies this situation. Perhaps some reference muscle memory.
Probably. Well, there's the mirror, so you can just mirror back if you wanted to.
That mirror is also really big, so now the Moon Trail can be in a lot of extra places, because we've already found the top of Death Mountain, so we can get even more Death Mountain entrances with that mirror. So these runners have gotten just about everything you can want except the Moon Pearl at this point. Because, I mean, I'm looking at the items that we've seen. We've already found the mitts and the flute, and so we'll have a hook shot and mirror. So once they have the Moon Pearl, they'll just have literally every entrance except for, like, the pyramid entrance and maybe a medallion-locked entrance open to them.
Alright, WallKicks getting the map to Eastern. And now about to ricochet off of a door. Because I imagine he's going to run here. And then he's going to run here and bonk. Wally's like, wait, what?
Yeah, definitely having a bit, looking at his tracker, seeing he has a small key. We'll see if he just realizes that he didn't pick up the key. That's definitely, I think that's got to be Retrance sort of muscle memory. Because if you're playing Retrance and have 10 small keys, you can just do what he did and pick up the key on the way out, save a little bit of time.
And WallKicks is one of the runners in the Retrance Invitational. And yeah, he picks up that key. Gonna go ahead and do blind. I'd be curious to see if he decides to go back for that one item or just leave it.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough decision because it's a long way to go, but at the same time, you know that your opponent's definitely not going to be orphaning that since the Thieves small was really early and the hammer and the big are both in here.
Alright, blind down for WallKicks. For a big key to Meyer.
All right, so we know with that, and with that cane, Meyer is now clearable with what we know from both these runners. Yeah, WallKicks going to elect to hope that big chest is nothing. We'll get to see relatively soon if it in fact is nothing, because tstew is going to make his way over there pretty soon.
Yeah, I would be concerned, but at the same time, like, you just found the Thieves Town big key and the hammer. Like, the chances another key item is in there, although I have been bitten by that before.
Yeah, it's kind of the Crosskeys conundrum, where there's so many items you need, but there's also so many items scattered. So it's like the odds of that being nothing are pretty low, but there's also a higher than usual number of things you need, because there could just be some random big key or a castle tower small in there, God forbid, and then that would be a really tough break for Wally. And we'll see. You were talking about doing the bunny revival for Meyer earlier. I think tstew, we might see that from tstew if they don't pick up the Moon Pearl in one of these entrances, because he'll be able to full clear that once he gets over there.
What was that dungeon that? What was the dungeon that tstew just found at Spike Cave?
Oh, I didn't catch that one.
I heard the music, but I was looking away. It was Swamp, is what we're being told.
Yeah, the runners have not found the dam yet, so they can't get into that. But the dam is the only thing they need to be able to full clear Swamp.
And WallKicks is bunny reviving into Meyer. So for certain, Moon Pearl or anything that leads to it will not be in here, because the logic doesn't assumes you don't bunny revive.
Yeah, and this is something that it's totally understandable for WallKicks. It's just going to be a bit unfortunate, because tstew is going to be able to go through and clear this all in one go. tstew following the mitts that are not quite in logic yet, needing 3 GT smalls to the King's Tomb, but not getting anything notable. Well, actually, no, it is in logic because of the mirror. My mistake. Well, no, sorry. Again, it's not in logic, so you can't get there without the Moon Pearl, but it would be if you had the Moon Pearl, you could walk over there. So it's either Moon Pearl or 3 GT small key lock.
One Turtle Rock small and minor. Or in Meyer, I should say.
So that's actually, I think that's a decent find, because that lowers the odds of it, Moon Pearl being in front of Turtle Rock with required traversing through the front side, the middle of it. Because you need 3 keys in logic to get from the back of Turtle Rock, like the big chest or the laser eyes, to the front where the fire unlock side is. And tstew got up to his Master Sword. Definitely, for those who haven't seen it, these runners have one shared sword, but then they both have one sword the other does not have.
There's a small key to Desert in Meyer, so that's the key. That's the one that's locked behind all 3 Meyer smalls.
Yeah, and I think that's a nice find here, because if you want to go through the Dark World via one of the Desert connectors, then you can get those 2 items out of logic on the way, because we might be having some bunny walks today. Whenever you get the mirror, then it makes bunny walks more likely, because you can get some extra light world entrances as a bunny. Because in situations where you have to bunny walk to the Moon Pearl, it's more likely that it'll be a light world entrance you can mirror to than a dark world entrance where you can collect the item. Because there just are not that many dark world entrances you can collect an item from. There's stuff like Sick Kid, the Hype Cave NPC, Hammer Pegs, Sahasrara if you have the green pendant, but we've already found a good number of those in the light world. So it's not like we will specifically bunny walk to the Moon Pearl, but you might have to bunny walk to mirror to the Moon Pearl. And meanwhile, tstew has made his way over back into Thieves Town, which will be important because we'll get to see whether or not that Thieves Town big chest is basically going to decide the race. I guess there's still a chance that both these runners could get bottlenecked so badly that WallKicks goes back. Or I guess not. He's going to go right back there right now. So no matter what, WallKicks will be safe with regards to the Thieves Town big chest here.
That's kind of what I was thinking, because you're in a situation right now where Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think WallKicks has done the top part of Death Mountain yet, but you're at a point right now where you're able to clear so much of Death Mountain that I kind of feel like this is a now or never play. You're either going to do this now, or you're never coming back for this one check until, like, your last locationing.
Yeah, it would have to. The only other opportunity he'd be over here again is when he wants to actually clear out Meyer with the cane, and if Meyer's a pendant, you might not have to do that. And also, from WallKick's perspective, there's just not that much left. He's found a good amount of the item entrances already, so the entrances on Death Mountain, there could be a dungeon or something, but it's not incredibly unlikely that there is progression in here, just because there's not that many checks left in logic for WallKicks. And the ones that are often, like the bunny walking to the race game left entrance, that's just not something you want to do. So if you can put it off, even if you have to get this big chest, it can be worth it.
All right. WallKicks did remember to come back here. And what was in this big chest? Just sticks.
Yeah, so you're not feeling good, but it's definitely not. You don't feel like you'll lose the race just because you had to go back to check it. But if you hadn't checked it and there was something there, then you are going to be really behind the 8 ball to win this race. Did we see the Titans Mitch locked entrances on tstew's side when he was over here?
I don't know. Alright, so that dark connector takes us to the dark shopping mall. But all WallKicks can do with that is check the one entrance that just has a ferry.
Yeah, I wonder what he's doing with the health revival. Oh, he's going to mirror over. Okay, makes sense. Because now he can do a water walk from here to go. I don't think he's done Hobo yet. So this is nice when you're playing Crosskeys and you remember where like those water walks are to save some time. It's very nice routing here.
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever you can water walk to Hobo, you should, because it saves a good amount of time versus swimming there.
tstew on his blind fight. Has Cane of Burnout just in case. First 2 phases, no problem. And down goes blind for tstew.
Yep, really nice safety, the Cane of Burnout for the blind fight. It looks like, I think we'll see WallKicks here turn in that green pendant that we just see over on tstew's side. Though, actually, no, he's going to go to GT and get all the goodies that were in here. I'm not sure where... Sorry, I was just saying, I'm not sure where tstew got his GT small key, where WallKicks didn't.
Yeah, I don't remember where that GT small was.
So unlike I think this actually is locked by the one GT small. So it's in logic knowing that as long as the one that tstew got was in logic, whereas most of what tstew did earlier was not in logic. But after this, nothing else is in logic over here. And WallKicks showing when you come here with 0 GT keys and you want to do left side, you skip the fire bar room because otherwise you won't have enough keys to get to randomizer room and Ice Karmos. So as for where the progression can be, we're really running out of good options for in-logic stuff. We have going backwards through Laser Bridge to Crystal Roller Room. That is in logic with the Cane of Samaria. That's now in logic. We have the green pendant turn in on Sahasrara, which neither of these runners have done. They've both gotten the green pendant. Sahasrara is just sitting over there in the top of Kakariko. We'll probably see that soon from these runners. And then we've got bunny walking for random items, and also bunny walking for mirror lock locations.
Also a shroom. I don't think that's in logic with the few keys we've found, but hey, they found a mushroom.
Yeah, it's a nice find because we haven't found Witch's Hut yet, and in Crosskeys, it's always nice to just turn that in, and then when you find it, get to do the Witch's Hut in one go. But yeah, that mushroom is walked by 4 GT small, so it's unlikely to have our immediate progression, but it still could be required, especially when you're looking for Castle Tower small keys, because those can be literally anywhere.
Also, we have this well with that hammer that they got.
Yep, really good point. That's 5 extra items, so definitely wouldn't be surprised to see something in there, because that's like by far the most dense option they've got. They could bunny walk to Mini Moldworm Cave in a mirror lock location or something to get a comparable amount of items, but this is just 5 sitting right here.
$21 rupees so far. Add 300 to that. A big key to pod and bombos.
Yep, so nothing immediately relevant. The big key to pod needs all 6 small keys, actually, before it can actually give you anything in logic. It's nice to find. And that Bombos medallion might give us an entrance later. We'll make Cold Stare a little easier, but not going to give us anything immediately. All right, so Tisu is going to start doing some bunny checks here. We have one light world entrance in Checkerboard Cave here. But otherwise, he can... And 3 with the desert ones. And I don't believe Tisu did the desert front yet, so that's another nice check here. Here's the dam, though. This is actually a really big check, because now all of Swamp Palace is in logic. So yeah, with all of Swamp Palace in logic after pulling that dam, plus the dam item, that's 11 items that just became available.
WallKicks is going to take that pod big key and go into pod.
Yeah, these items won't be in logic yet, but that doesn't mean they can't be anything good. So, and you're going to probably be coming back here at some point, so it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, Myers Shed today is 20 Rupee Cave. Oh, WallKicks is choosing to just go for the boss. Which WallKicks doesn't know that this is a crystal, but he will be pleasantly surprised when he gets there. The other Myers Shed is Eastern Palace.
Yeah, so definitely no dip of Eastern Palace here without having the big key or the Moon Pearl, so it's not even in logic yet.
And Dark Akina is Ice Palace.
All right, that's good. Some of our dungeons are starting to show up. Ice Palace, they can do. They can actually full clear that once they find the Moon Pearl. So really, the Moon Pearl is gating the seed heavily right now because they have so much stuff that they can do basically every entrance in the Dark World as soon as they get the Moon Pearl. Here is the Front of Old Man, which doesn't. This connector isn't that relevant to us because we already know it takes us to Tower of Hera, and they have the mirror already. But he's on the end of his route anyway, so not bad to do it here.
Yeah.
Saves a bit of a mountain climb.
Excuse me.
And we'll get to see. Oh, is he going to go up and check Ether with the old man? I guess not. He's probably going. He knows he needs to come back up here anyway, so we'll check that later.
Yeah, I think he's going to pick up the small key here. Which is a small key to another pod key. And now he's going to check Ether.
And that pod key puts us a little bit closer to getting logical access to those items in the back of pod. Maybe this is another one to give us it.
No, GT one.
So 3 GT smalls would put the mitts into logic. And I believe the Tower of Hera big key as well.
You know, today I learned you can flute with the old man.
Yeah, that's not something you see very often, but it makes a lot of sense right there. So good heads up play there by tstew.
Oh! There's our Moon Pearl!
Yep, it was no need to full clear swamp for pulling the dam. You just get what you need immediately. And tstew going to take that right over to Turtle Rock because this is a connector to the Dark World. Though we have regular Dark World access, but he figures that just use this one. So we'll finally...
But WallKicks checking Spike Cave was just a map to Thieves Town, which we know what it is.
Yep, so we'll finally get to see our first trek really deep into the Dark World, get to see what's hiding out here today. The seed was so heavily front-loaded, there can't be that much over here, but there's got to be some dungeons and stuff.
Well, you've still got at least a couple big keys you got to find. And
the dreaded 2 Castle Tower Smalls.
Uh-huh. There's where our Ganon's Tower key was. It was at Sanctuary.
Yeah,
or
that
not
makes
Sanctuary,
sense.
but the Uncle Tunnel, I should say.
Yeah, and we'll actually get a new check over here because WallKicks will almost certainly do the 1 check of Aga Tower here, whereas tstew did not have enough arrows to do this when he came here. All right, our first bottle is there, which is not meaningless because Sick Kid can show up anywhere. There's a big key over there in Checkerboard at the Dark Witch's Hut.
Big key to Desert, one of the ones we need.
Yeah, because it's pretty early, but you can honestly start thinking about what we're going to need to beat the seed. It really depends on what of our last dungeons are crystals, because, for instance, if Mire and Turtle Rock are the last... are the 2 crystals rather than the 2 pendants, then we just need the TR big key to beat those 2. And then we can already clear out Swamp and Tower of Hera once we find it, and Desert now. So that would actually put us basically 2 Castle Tower T's and Turtle Rock big key away. Whereas if we need Eastern, we are going to need the Eastern big, and with Skullwoods, we just need to find the back of Skullwoods. But saying that, it looks like we're about... there's also going to be something like Pod Smalls if Pod Smalls are required to get some of the items, but we're going to just need, at most, 4 keys, it looks like.
We did just see the Eastern is a crystal, so at least on tstew's side, he's pretty close to solving the puzzle. Just needs to find the 7th crystal. And tstew is going to go ahead and do GT left. Won't find much other than that mushroom.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to see how tstew decides to do this because you still need a decent amount of items. So entrances are still going to have value because you need to go through and get your keys. Because you don't know if you need to find any more dungeons or not. These runners might have already found all the dungeons they need. Because if you find all the dungeons you need, then you can just go through and clear them and kind of hope that you find what you need on the way, and then start hunting entrances after that if you still need more stuff.
Yeah, at this point, I would probably make my way to Swamp, just because it's 10 items. You have to do it because it's a crystal. You've got the Cane of Samaria, so you can dive her down through it. Like, I would... This is the point of the race where if I have dungeons I could finish, I'd probably start doing them.
And meanwhile, we got to look at the 1 chest that WallKicks was not able to check due to lack of small keys on tstew's side. That was a Turtle Rock small, which is not irrelevant because we know there's one in Mire, so that gives them 3. They're not in Logic, and that one's locked by 4 GT small keys, and the one in Mire... I think that one was actually only locked by 1, so they have that available. Because once you have 3, they haven't found the front of Turtle Rock yet, so you may be required to go back to front to get the connector. Though, honestly, right now, they'd probably just beat Trinex once they get the big key to check that connector.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, there's Hera.
Yeah, so that's a pretty dense location of dungeons over here with Swamp Palace and Spike Cave and Mire down at where Super Bunny, to the right of the Super Bunny entrance, and Tower of Hera right there.
Both of our runners have the Hera big, so this is in Logic. Even though WallKicks is going to Terrapot to get in.
Chad asking about the dam and the ice rod. Dam is over in the desert area, in the desert left entrance. The ice rod was in Compass Room of Ganon's Tower. And the Cane of Samaria, the other piece you kind of need to get to Compass Room, that's in the Chain Chomp Room of Turtle Rock.
WallKicks going to use the hammer to take on Trolldorm. 3 hammer hits to the tail and dead Troll.
Yeah, we'll see if he's got anything good on him today, other than the crystal.
Nope.
And we'll get to see.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to point out, tstew's in the back of Pod, which we haven't seen from WallKicks yet, because he elected to go right to Helmasaur King with that key. Whereas tstew actually has one more key than WallKicks did, so he could even go into the bag and then beat Helma.
Yeah, I was going to point out that from tstew checking maps, apparently Terra's a 5/6 crystal.
And there's the big key of Eastern, which is one of the main items we needed for Go Mode. So if it turns out that Turtle Rock is a pendant, then they're just looking for Castle Tower Smalls, which is honestly terrifying because these runners have the whole Dark World to check, and those can be anywhere. So just
honestly,
think that...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if Ganon had been anywhere else, this could be a really quick seed, but unfortunately Ganon's living in one of the more annoying spots today.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I would probably just start doing dungeons because I do swamp. I would go... I mean, tstew knows where ice is. I don't think WallKicks knows where ice is yet, but I would definitely be trying to get dungeons finished and hope that I hit, with Meyer, like I find the last crystal to kind of know what I've got left to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that makes a lot of sense because you go up to the mountain and you do Swamp Palace, and then you can... There's still entrances from tstew's point of view up there because he hasn't seen the entrances that WallKicks just checked. And you'd find Tower of Hera on the way, and then you could do Meyer. If he... Yeah, I think he knows... I don't remember if he checked the Dark World entrances. He had the mitts when he was over there, but I can't remember if he actually stepped into the portal and checked out Meyer.
There's a 4th sword on tstew's side, but that puts him at Tempered Sword.
And yeah, we'll see tstew again. tstew thinks he's thinking of the same idea about just clearing dungeons. Pod's a crystal, so you're gonna have to beat it. Might as well use the key now for it.
WallKicks is now finally heading over to the Meyer area. Will most likely get the dam entrance, and then hopefully make his way to the Moon Pearl at the dam.
Yeah, for sure. This is where WallKicks needed to go. The dam unlocks the Moon Pearl, which unlocks basically everything, and the dam also unlocks Swamp Palace. So it just really opens up a lot of the seed, not just opening up the dam here. The one thing that you might be tempted to... I guess WallKicks doesn't know Ice Palace is a crystal, but if you come over here as a bunny... Oh, no, he isn't the cane, though, so I guess maybe not as much. I'm kind of surprised tstew didn't elect to full clear Ice Palace when he was over here, because he knew it was a crystal and had the cane.
Alright, so tstew is going to make his attempt at Helmasaur.
Yeah, he has the advantage of having Tempered Sword for this fight, so it should be a little bit easier on his side. Though with the blue mail is really helpful here, because 4.5 heart Helmasaur can be a bit scary. And we see over on WallKick's side that Misery Mire is a pendant today, so we're still going to it's becoming, we're going to need to either find the Back to Skull Woods or find the Turtle Rock Big Key to be able to beat all the required dungeons.
Looks like WallKicks is gonna bunny revive into Ice Palace.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate for him because we already know the cane is readily available, but this also makes a lot of sense, like I was saying earlier. It's a little bit annoying to get back to, and you can full clear it, and you know it's a crystal. So it just makes a lot of sense to do now. And it looks like that's where tstew's headed as well. So we're going to get to see the power of Icebreaker here, because you might even see tstew finish Ice Palace before WallKicks does.
I wouldn't be surprised if tstew also does Eastern before Ice Palace.
Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, it's turning out kind of like you were saying earlier, where going through the dungeons right now just makes a lot of sense. You have to do it. Some dungeons like Swamp, maybe you do last because that's a much quicker go mode dungeon. But like Eastern and Ice with the Cane, it's not that big of a difference between the go mode and the non-go mode. At least compared to something like Swamp.
It looks like Skullwoods is the other pendant, so it's Turtle Rock that's the last crystal.
So we're on the lookout for, officially for go mode, we need, for tstew at least, he needs the Turtle Rock Big and the 2 Castle Tower Smalls, both of them. Whereas WallKicks needs to get the Cane from the Chain Chomp Room of Turtle Rock and the Ice Rod from the Compass Room of Ganon's Tower, plus those other 2 items, or 3 items. And yeah, looks like...
Go ahead.
You were right about him, tstew going through Eastern first and find that GT small key, which they become a bit scary now because you've got the climb starts kind of wearing and looking at you, and you've got 3 or 4 keys.
I was also going to say, this is the point where every time you find a key, you're like, please be Castle Tower, please be Castle Tower. It's not Castle Tower.
Yeah, absolutely. Those Castle Towers, you never like being in Castle Tower small key go mode. Because there's, like, with other things, you can often play the logic game. Okay, you can't find the hammer somewhere, the hammer's locked. So you can eliminate some stuff. But the Castle Tower small keys can just be anywhere.
I mean, really, the only logic you could play with that would be if the second item in Castle Tower is something, then you know, okay, well, one of them is blocked by this. Or one of them can't be blocked by this.
And WallKicks, at least having the 2, he didn't have any of the 2 Ice Palace small keys, because you can get through a little bit faster if you have small keys for the Ice Palace Mountain Jump here.
Yeah, chat was mentioning earlier, tstew does have both of them.
Which it's not quite as big for him because with Icebreaker you don't need them as much. tstew getting the heart container, which honestly, considering how much items he has, that's not unwelcome being as low health as he was. But with Blue Mail, it's not like a risk of dying, but you never know. Sometimes things can happen. So we haven't found anything too nice in either of these dungeons at this point. And I think, honestly, the Ganon's Tower Small was the most interesting item we found so far.
And to your point, that really only gets us starting to think about the gauntlet.
Yeah, I mean, it does. We know we're going to need to find those keys because the Ice Rod was locked by all 4. And also where the mitts were, but the mitts might not even lead to anything. Though I guess the mitts lead to this mire area. So that actually... I think that actually means, no, because this was only locked by 3 GT Smalls, the mitts. The mitts were locked by 3, because if the mitts had been locked by 4, then that would mean there had to have been a connector here, but there wasn't. So there's not going to be any other GT Small keys in the mire area. There can only be that one.
And another crystal for tstew.
And there's a pod small over here, which is nice because WallKicks needed another one to be able to get to the back.
And now tstew heads into Ice Palace.
Yeah, it's really nice having gotten that Eastern Big before because he only has to make just I guess it's technically 2 trips, but the 1 trip after knowing about these dungeons and having the Moon Pearl to beat all these dungeons. But now the thing I'm wondering, so if you're tstew and you go through and get the 4th GT small key somewhere in, like, I don't know, Swamp Palace or Mire, how long would you think you put off the climb?
Me, personally, I'd do Swamp Palace before I do the climb.
Yeah, I think Swamp Palace is a pretty easy call, but when you've got... These runners have a lot of entrances left. Like, they have not checked any of the pod area, the Village of Outcast area. They haven't checked the top of, like, the Turtle Rock entrance or a lot of the South Dark World. So there's a lot of entrances to check. So it's kind of like, when do you start valuing? It'll depend on how many item entrances they have, though they have found a lot already. And yeah, WallKicks able to make it through that Cold Stare fight. These runners have not been too high on health, so it's been a bit of some difficult fights there, but able to make it through without taking death to Cold Stare there, which is always, never want to see a Cold Stare death. But yeah, chat putting out that there was a fairy in a bottle in Ice Palace, which makes it so you can play more aggressively like he was playing there.
Did WallKicks open the dam?
Yeah, I believe he did. He did that before pulling the doing Ice Palace. And we found the Old Man connector for the first time. That takes us to the pod area. So WallKicks is going to walk to the pyramid because for all he knows, that could just be the Moon Pearl. And also with that mirror and the Master Sword or better, he can go into all of the Castle Tower entrances. So it makes a lot of sense to go over here with that saving quick point.
There's Bomb Shop.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty nice location for the bomb shop because you can just go back into your mirror portal and drop it right off in the pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the logic of the bomb shop and Crosskeys, like, it's often flute locked where you have to have the flute to turn in that bomb. But there's other times where you can do some weird mirror portal leaving that makes it in logic. This one is pretty clear that you just use the mirror portal you do to get here. But there can be some less obvious ones.
What's also interesting is by aggregate, the Pyramid Fairy entrance is open. Although
we don't have Desert Palace back yet.
Oh yeah, we gotta find that. My bad.
But in actuality, it is open because they have all the entrances in the game open to them. So wherever Desert Palace is, it can't be Ganon's Tower because it's a crystal. So and it can't be the Pyramid entrance, which are the main ones they don't have. So WallKicks is going to go up. Looks like he's going to go to the dungeons over here, Swamp Palace first. And then you got to be wondering about when WallKicks is going to go back for that Cane of Samaria, because it's just not a particularly attractive location to get to. I mean, maybe when you're in the Dark World and if you happen to be upon that Turtle Rock left entrance, but it's not even the Turtle Rock left entrance is not in a good spot. I guess the Turtle Rock big key would be the main thing that would force him over there.
But when do you find that?
Could be here. This is one of the more dense locations we haven't seen. But the other bad thing is, so if you have the Turtle Rock big key on the ice rod, you just be Trinex and then do Chain Chomp's way through the front. But without the ice rod, you're not gonna be able to do that.
Meanwhile, we did get a raid from Zelda Speedruns 2, so thank y'all for joining us. We got tstew versus WallKicks in the bracket phase of the Crosskeys tournament. Please be sure to give both WallKicks and tstew follows on Twitch, because they're giving us quite an entertaining race, and this is a best of 3.
Yeah, this has been kind of it was such a front-loaded seed that these runners are looking for 3 keys, at least on tstew's side. WallKicks is looking for the cane and the ice rod as well, but they have so many entrances left that it'll be interesting to see what route these runners decide to take to knock out all the entrances versus dungeons to find what they need.
Yeah, tstew finding the cane of Samaria and the chain chomp chest of Turtle Rock really kind of gives tstew a big advantage here in terms of what is going to be needed to be done.
Yeah, because if you think about what could have been in that chest and how the seed progressed, it's basically a jackpot for tstew there, because the way to get to that chest is to get the hook shot. But the hook shot also locked basically the rest of the seed, because you use the hook shot to get to East Death Mountain and find the hammer and the mirror in Thieves Town, which gives you the rest of the game, which that looks more like the hook shot progression than the Cane of Samaria you got there. And yeah, when WallKicks found the Turtle Rock right entrance, the Chain Chomps wasn't in logic. So you definitely understand not wanting to go there, especially because he was on like 3 or 4 hearts and didn't have a sword or anything, so he had to use like the bow. And it's not a fun check to do if you know it's not in logic.
So far, not finding much in Swamp.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense that these dungeons would be as empty as they are, considering how much stuff these runners found in the early game.
You unfortunately still have to do it, because again, with Ganon being at Agate Tower, or the Lumberjack, I should say, I mean, you're gonna be looking for those Castle Tower keys.
Yeah, whenever you get into this sort of seed right now, it's really just all about efficiency at this point, because you got basically all of your items you need to access locations early, and you know you're basically going to have to check. It's all about check density, because there's no real reason why where the Castle Tower's keys should be or shouldn't be.
Well, there's the Turtle Rock big key. So maybe this will get WallKicks to go back to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I think that's a really good find there. I think finding the Turtle Rock big key is really good for WallKicks here. Because he'll probably, I don't know, he's already done Mire, so not going to get tempted by that. He's already done the entrances over here. So after Swamp, he's basically doesn't have anything else to route in. So it would definitely make sense to go over to Turtle Rock to check that big key really quickly. And then once you get that cane, the right side of GT just seems like a nice play as well. And tstew finally going to go back for this. He found this entrance at about 5 minutes in and just didn't have enough arrows to defeat the items, gets the red potion, but pretty nice to not know that he didn't find something really good there that you put off for a while.
Alright, WallKicks into Argus. Since he doesn't have the Swamp Big Key, which actually neither runner does, we're going to be orphaning an item in here.
And it's pretty interesting. WallKicks still on Master Sword here. These runners still have one dip. We've seen all 4 swords. It's just that tstew has never been over to the eastern area, and then the other ones are in like Pod and GT.
Down goes Argus for WallKicks.
And tstew going to turn in that mushroom, which is nice, because whenever you're going to go on, tstew is going to probably start doing a lot of entrances now. He's beaten the dungeons he can, except for Mire, and I guess Swamp too. But you want to turn that in. as soon as possible.
Pinsu has found Magic Shop. That was at the Rock for Hookshot Cave. And I think that's what tstew's doing right now, is turning that in.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because this takes you to the top of the mountain.
Alright, what does the Magic Shop have, Just Big 20?
Yeah, I'm only looking for keys at this point, so it's pretty easy to tell when it's something you want or not. If it's not key colored, then just get out of here.
Pretty much.
It looks like WallKicks probably going to go over here to, I believe we have the Turtle Rock entrance and Spiral Cave over here, so that looks to be where he's going. And tstew made his way over to Tower of Hera after that, so gonna clear out this dungeon. Don't have the small key to do the basement, but we'll be able to do this, and we'll see if he elects to jump down to Mire right afterwards. And the Turtle Rock entrance is a connector, and that's actually one you're going to want to follow because we haven't found the Turtle Rock bridge entrances yet. And we haven't found Laser Bridge either, so it could just be taking you to the Laser Bridge entrance, but you do want to get those entrances.
Also haven't... No, never mind. We actually have found the bumper entrance.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has checked that Light World entrance yet, but we do have the Hyrule Castle left leads to the top of Dark Bumper.
Oh, Jinxie, our tracker, reminding us that tstew has seen this, and it just leads to Hype Cave.
Oh yeah, because he had the mitts early. So Hype Cave, not a small prize, but doesn't have too much of use today. Because when you have a lot of entrances like these runners have, and you have 2 5-item caves out there, then it makes the entrances a lot more valuable. So when you find Hype Cave or Blind's Hut, from WallKicks' perspective, then it becomes less valuable. Oh, sorry, it was not the Hype Cave entrance. It was the Hype Cave entrance. My bad, I was misunderstanding. And yeah, Chad makes an interesting point that the Moon Pearl is still out of logic, because we have 3 GT small keys to put the mitts, which put the Moon Pearl into logic, sure, but one of those GT small keys was in Eastern Palace, locked by the mitts themselves. So there's another GT small key out there that leads to the Moon Pearl.
So meanwhile, tstew is going to do Misery Mire. WallKicks just found Paradox Cave, so 7 items in here. 2 of them so far are nothing.
Yeah, because there's still a lot of entrances to be seen. I don't think tstew's seen this Paradox Cave and the Swamp Palace entrance yet.
It's amazing to see how we're an hour 20 in, and we've barely touched Dark World.
Oh god, finding 3 small keys like that and none of them being Castle Tower is agonizing.
Yeah.
But that's all 6 pod smalls, so probably see WallKicks go back there in the near future because he has not done any of the back. But there's that connector to the laser eye entrances of Turtle Rock.
And that leads to the library with an item. Is this a Castle Tower key? No, it's not. Well, that's interesting. Both Paradox entrances are the Turtle Rock Bridge.
Yeah, that's interesting. You're always going to get one to the one on the right, but that one on the left doesn't have to show up as a connector.
Meanwhile, we also that Spiral Cave entrance is our back of desert.
All right, yeah, and WallKicks has not found that desert big yet. And interestingly, tstew doesn't have the desert small, so he doesn't know that that's in logic. But between these two runners, we know that it's available. It might actually be in logic, so I can't keep track of what was locked by things that are in logic or not, but they're both available.
So now both of our... So WallKicks is now going to check the pod area.
Yeah, it's a nice quick flute over there, so it makes some sense.
I don't think we've found the back of the Skullwoods yet. Neither runner has at this point.
They just found Deck of Desert, but Skull was being a pendant. We have all the dungeons that we need. Though we could still need Pedestal for something. But there's 2 items in Skullwoods, but yeah, it's just basically a glorified 3-item cave. And tstew is going to make his way over to Misery Mire. I didn't see what was in the big chest. That's the only... WallKicks already showed us these items, and there wasn't really anything too interesting over here. I guess the Desert Small was one of the items that was... I think maybe that was cutscene chest, but that was the only thing over here of any interest. All right, so this is that big key to Desert. So I wonder when WallKicks will elect to just go clear out what he's got left in Desert. Because it gives you two items for, 4 items total from beating the boss, the big chest, and the 2 on the right. Also gets the pyramid open, which is just 1 entrance, so not incredibly valuable, but you might still want to check that at some point.
tstew making quick work of Vitreous.
Oh, there's a small key. And the castle tower.
That's one of them.
So that's definitely a nice find for tstew, knowing that he's just the 2 items away from go mode now, and we've seen the Turtle Rock big key already, so between the 2 runners, we just need the 1 more item. Because, yeah, you gotta imagine that tstew is going to get that Turtle Rock big key out of Swamp Palace in the pretty near future, because that's 10 items. It's a crystal he has to clear. He's 1 item from go mode. I don't think you're going to get too greedy and try to go mode Swamp, especially with as many entrances as he has left. He'll want to go get there pretty quickly.
There's the upgrade ferry in the Dark Shopping Mall. tstew taking advantage of that, getting some more bombs and arrows.
Let's see if tstew is going to flute over to Swamp here. Nope, gonna do something else instead.
That's Desert, so he's probably checking the 2 items in the east side.
Yep, and also the big chest item. Nothing of value in Desert Right. Gonna actually not see tstew check the right, at least from here. He might go over to that left entrance because it might be a little faster to walk over there, but I guess maybe this is probably gonna be the over to the bumper ledge here.
Yeah, I would imagine you mirror, check what's there. Back of Turtle Rock is also in the Ascension Cave entrance just below, so you could also see maybe tstew deciding to dip into Turtle Rock. I mean, he's got... he doesn't have the Turtle Rock big key, my bad.
Yeah, he might go in the swamp to get it.
Yeah, he might go in and check Crystal Roller Room, but he can't beat Trinex yet.
There's silvers on the land mold, which is a nice find. But yeah, that early cane is really turning out big for tstew, because since he has that cane before I got to Meyer, he got to go and beat Vitreous for that Castle Tower Small, whereas now WallKicks has that location pretty orphaned, and it's going to be hard to see him get back there unless he's like really gambling. So, and even if you're thinking, okay, the other Castle Tower Small could just be somewhere really bad, well, if it is somewhere really bad, and if there it is right there, so not even going to be there anywhere that bad, then tstew is going to have to find it eventually, like he just did. So now all tstew has to do is go into Swamp Palace for that Turtle Rock big, and he'll be in go mode.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we'll see how much tstew elects to do over here, because now he's one item away from go mode. Can he really put off doing Crystal Swamp? I mean, I guess you could get greedy and hope to not have to check anything in there and just get to go mode it, but we'll see. Especially finding Mini Moldorm Cave here, there's just not that many. I think this is our last multi-item entrance. We've already found 2 fairies, Blindside Hype Cave, Sajrala, and Mireshed. So there's not even that much value. Like Skullwood's back is the best entrance you can find at this point.
Honestly, at this point, given oh wait, Swamp Palace is at Death Mountain. I was thinking back to my ladder race. Swamp Palace was at where Sahasrara is in this seed, but you shouldn't play Crosskeys and then try to commentate the Crosskeys, because then you get all this stuff to run together in your head.
Oh yeah, and Chad making a good point that tstew does not know where Desert Palace is, so. And that's the kind of a bit unfortunate for him, because if you go over and do Swamp Palace, then you'll probably get drawn over to that one entrance. Though, honestly, I think he'll find it in the near future. Even if he continues on this route, he'll get to he'll find Paradox Cave, and then find the Turtle Rock laser entrance and just mirror over there. So he should be fine in finding that.
Mm-hmm.
And Pedestal is dead today. We already knew because we found everything, but it could have at least been, maybe, I guess the best thing at this point would honestly be Powder. Because
race game entrance is our Turtle Rock main entrance.
Okay, so yeah, tstew's going to spend some time checking this for sure.
Harold Castle Key, which really doesn't matter at this point. WallKicks finding half magic in Skullwoods. There's the 4th GT key. So, you were talking about needing 3 GT keys to get to the Titan's Bits for Moon Pearl. So the seed was wanting you to walk as a bunny to this entrance and then get the GT small key there.
Yep. And it's, yeah, whenever you get that mirror, it definitely puts the bunny walks into play a lot, because it just gives you a decent amount more light world entrances.
Castle Tower keys were on Vitreous, and we're at Chess Game, which today is Mimic Cave.
Yeah, Chess Game entrance, Mimic Cave.
Which WallKicks is about to get.
Yeah, but this one wasn't the hard one. The hard one for WallKicks to find will be that the Vitreous one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Bumper Cave at South Grove. I don't know if we've seen the other one.
I don't recall if we did, but I don't. We'll see if that could actually draw tstew away from finding Desert, because if he just continues on this route and goes to Swamp Palace, he'll find Desert and then be in Go mode. Well, not Go mode actually. He'll probably be closer to Go mode, because I think once you found Desert, I think you go right to Swamp, because what tstew's doing right now is, okay, I need to find Desert. So I'm going to have to do entrances anyway. So he's doing entrances until he finds Desert. Once he finds Desert, I expect him to immediately go to Swamp, because then you're kind of hoping, okay, maybe there's the off chance I find Turtle Rock, Big Key. I haven't found Paradox Cave yet, so maybe I find Turtle Rock, Big Key, and get to Go mode Swamp. So he's doing all his entrances to find Desert, and once he finds it, probably going to go to the Swamp.
And I think tstew is about to find Desert.
Yep, absolutely. He's going to find that laser eye entrance, which is 3 entrances he hasn't seen yet. He'll check all of them, and we'll find Desert. I don't know if we saw Paradox Cave Bottom. I guess he could get locked out of Paradox Cave Bottom at like GT and then maybe not get there, but it seems pretty likely that he's just going to go to Desert.
Sick Kid just giving us a big 20. That was a hammer pegs. Ice Rod is in the right side of GT.
He's going to grab the small key. I'm not sure what small key it could help him here, but they're going to get it anyway.
It gives him all the Turtle Rock keys, but doesn't really need them. The important thing is that he's going to run over here and see that, oh, that was the other entrance to Paradox Cave, and then mirror and find the back of Desert.
And meanwhile, WallKicks going to go back. He's got a lot of items in pod here, so it makes sense to go back here, and he can get all of them, so we'll take the time to do that. And yeah, it's kind of like we were saying earlier about Crosskeys, how like there can just be some little plays that really decide the game. And I think that getting the cane early for tstew really made his route just a whole lot nicer in a bunch of different ways, because that led to him getting some big keys a bit earlier because of his routing. It led to him getting the ice rod earlier and enough for sword earlier. So it was very helpful for tstew to have gotten that cane when he did.
Yeah, I mean, that's the there's a lot of. What is tstew doing? Oh, he probably stopped for a minute, but Crosskeys is just kind of, that's how it is. It just is volatile in terms of, you know, one wrong move, and you just see the vast difference between tstew and WallKicks right now.
Yeah, and it's not even really a wrong move at that point, because it's like there's not necessarily a reason to do chain chomp chess as early as tstew did, because it wasn't in logic, but it made sense for him to do it the way he routed it. Whereas it made a lot more sense for WallKicks to check the connector there, because he was done with all the other entrances in that area. And once he got spit out as a bunny, he would have to take a bunny revival to go back to chain chomp chess, and just didn't want to do that for an out of logic check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I'm saying wrong move, I'm not saying wrong move in the sense of like, oh, it was like you shouldn't have done it. It's just that just today, unfortunately, that was not the way to go.
Yeah. And looks like we'll see Bombo's tablet here from tstew real quick while he is right here, but probably going to go right to Swamp after this.
You would hope.
Because you have to mirror anyway, and you're right here, so it definitely makes sense.
Yep, I imagine that's exactly what tstew's about to do.
Yeah, not really anything much left over on Death Mountain to do.
So once tstew gets the Turtle Rock Big Key in the Swamp Compass chest, that will be go mode for tstew. Just have to go kill Trinex, Aga 1, and then roast a pig.
Yeah, a little bit longer of a go mode than you'll normally see in Crosskeys, because a lot of times it's just you get the one big key that you need and then beat the one boss that's left and then beat Ganon. This time we're going to have to take a brief detour over to Castle Tower, which today is at the Hyrule Castle entrance, so not even too bad to get to, and then go up to the Lumberjack location for Ganon. But yeah, this was kind of a wild seed with having all the being as front loaded as it is. Like, there's so many opportunities to make plays to get a really fast time because you have so many options. The Moon Pearl was the only thing that was really gating them from doing everything in the seed. All right, so tstew will get the good news about not having to do left side swamp here once he goes down the compass chest here.
Alright, so officially at 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 40 seconds, tstew14's in go mode.
Yep, so we'll see him beat Argus, and then you probably actually will want to beat Aghanim first before beating Trinex because... Or no, never mind, because he'll get spit out of the front of Turtle Rock. If you got spit out of the back of Turtle Rock, then you would do Laser Bridge, because it's right next to Lumberjack. But you've got to beat... I think we'll see what order he likes to do it.
Yeah, I honestly was thinking about it in terms of which one you do first. But the thing is that because of the flute, it really doesn't matter. Like, Turtle Rock Main is at the race game, so you could do Aga first, then Turtle Rock, and then you can just run right up there. But the thing is, you're gonna it'd be easier to flute to 3, so it really doesn't matter all that much.
It looks like WallKicks is going to go and clear out Eastern Palace right now before... and then after that, he's running kind of low on stuff, and he'll get directed towards the stuff that needs to get done here, like going back into Turtle Rock and doing the Vitreous fight. But that Vitreous fight is still probably going to be after a lot of entrances. And tstew having the Tempered Sword here, you're going to have a little bit easier of a time than WallKicks did because it makes the Argus fight a lot easier.
One silver arrow means dead Argus.
All right, we'll see how tstew is going to elect to beat the last few dungeons he's got here. He's got to beat Turtle Rock and Castle Tower. And this looks like Aga first.
Yep.
I'm getting a bit of a quick swap tragedy over there on tstew's side using the blue boomerang on that guard instead of the silvers. This will be a pretty quick climb here, having silvers and temper and everything. Probably a bit of autopilot checking that chest. I guess you could get a sword, but I don't even know how to go through this maze without getting that chest. Eastern Palace not being particularly nice. Nice dash poke there from tstew to quickly KO that guard there. So yeah, for those of you who tuned in a little bit late, the real deciding moment of this race, we didn't know it at the time, but we thought it was pretty big back in I don't know, 20 minutes into the seed. tstew elected to bomb jump Turtle Rock right to get the Chain Chomp chest out of logic and got the Cane of Samaria, which really just made routing through this whole seed a lot easier. He was able to full clear Mire and Vitreous as a pendant with a Castle Tower small key, with Ganon at Lumberjack. So the Cane really just compounded into a lot of other things. And WallKicks making really quick work of those Armos Knights with the silver arrows. Always really nice to deal with that fight there. And we'll get to see over on tstew's side. Looks like he's trying to set up hook speed to get to the back of Aga Tower quickly. And we'll see how bad Aga's going to be today.
First one is always going to be a normal shot, and then you have 3 that are 50-50 between normal and blue. There's a blue there. 5th one is throw a bolt of lightning and spin again.
So already at 2 blue balls, so Aga doesn't want the seed to go too. I think Aga's holding out to still keep these runners above the 145.
There's 3. 3-3. 4 blue balls. 5. Aga's really being trolly today.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the seed being as front-loaded as it was, Aga needed to pull out some tricks to still make the run take a little bit longer.
All right, that's 4-5.
I think. Go ahead. I was thinking that if Ganon had been anywhere but Aga Tower or the Pyramid, tstew could have been looking at like a sub 90-minute seed here. Because then when you're 1 item from Go Mode versus 3, you probably do Swamp a little bit earlier.
All right, so that'll be 7 blue balls because this will be regular. Down goes Aga, so just try next left before Ganon.
And looks like WallKicks is going to show us what entrance is inside the pyramid. I guess the most interesting one would be Skull Woods back. We haven't seen that yet. And tstew just making his way up to Trinex is here, and Ganon, good thing to not accidentally muscle memory up to Ganon here, and he remembers to beat Trinex first. Just a fortune teller inside the pyramid today, so completely useless entrance. And WallKicks is, you're getting down into the weeds of the checks you've got left when you gotta go back for this Castle Tower key. It is a really good time to route it in, because it's just the 1 item and otherwise it would take quite a while to get to, but it's not the answer today. And tstew with the Tempered Sword, just being pretty nice for these boss fights, and have a pretty straightforward Trinex fight. Release the spin a little bit early, but still able to get a pretty quick kill on Trinex there. All right, looks like WallKicks is going where he needs to go. Going to go into this Turtle Rock entrance. We'll get to see what's in the big chest, and then we'll hopefully make his way over to Chomp Room for that cane before Tissue's able to finish. And that's an annoying item.
Mm-hmm. However, Tstew has all 7 crystals done, so now it's time to go kill a pig.
Yep, making the right decision, footing to 8 to use this portal to get to Lumberjack entrance.
I'm glad you caught me there, because I was almost about to say wrong flight.
No, this is the best way to get to this area. I think I didn't catch it, but I think he may have also done that to get to the laser bridge entrance as well. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if WallKicks is able to get this cane before this Ganon fight is over. Silvers and Tempered makes Ganon pretty fast to beat.
Tstew manages to get to phase 2.
Yeah, I messed up a little bit on this hook shot spin strategy, but we'll be able to get through the phase 2 pretty quickly.
Yep.
All right, WallKicks making his way to the chest that really turned the tide for this race here. Hopefully he's able to he's still got a fairy, I think, so even if the change jumps really bad, he should be okay. All right, there's that cane for WallKicks, and when your opponent's not done, you're not immediately thinking, oh, my opponent did this way earlier and was able to route in stuff nicely, but he'll know once this dot done happens that something happened.
Yeah, because after that triple on Ganon, just gotta wait for the fanfare to finish. And from there, tstew14 goes the wrong way and finishes with a time of 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 20 seconds. Get your GGs in chat.
Yeah, really fast time here for Crosskeys, especially when you have to do the Castle Tower small key hunt. So Tstew will go up 1-0 in this series, but there's still more to be seen. WallKicks can still work his way back in if he is able to take games 2 and 3. So definitely try to check out and see when these runners are doing their next race. And we'll see if the runners are going to join us for an interview today.
The WallKicks about to get the Ice Rod. And the GT Big. We'll see what WallKicks decides to do after this.
Yeah, I think you probably want it. You're going to have to go to get that big chest, because otherwise it's just an orphan location.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's deciding to leave. Looks like he's heading for TR.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, because you can get the Crystal Roller Room and do the... Because you're not going to do the climb there when you have TR. TR has more items than it, with the 2 in the back and 3 in the front. So, well, I guess it's tied if you have powder, but they don't. So we'll get to see a gold sword Trinex fight over here on WallKicks side.
Mm-hmm.
With the gold sword, you can go for that cool behind the back zero cycle strategy. We'll see if WallKicks goes for that here. Yeah, went for it, but got the you got to hit the fire head really quick, or else he'll get away like that, and you don't get the zero cycle.
So the big question at this point is going to be, when does WallKicks decide to go back to Meyer, because Vitreous has the other key.
You're going to collect his last crystal of the night, but unfortunately, you've got that looming castle tower small key hunt. And after beating Trinex, getting his last crystal, WallKicks has elected to forfeit today. Definitely don't blame him, because that last Castle Tower small key could be anywhere in the game.
Pretty much. And it looks like we've got WallKicks getting ready to join us. We've got both tstew and WallKicks in chat. GG's to both of you.
Yo, GG's.
So any first thoughts on the seed? We'll start with tstew.
Felt like a really open seed. The last item I had to forget all the entrances, was the pearl. So definitely a lot of early items.
Did you have CT2 before the pearl?
No, I didn't.
Okay, because that's all I'm missing at this point.
It's on Vedi.
That's gross. That was going to be essentially last location.
Yeah, the big difference in this race WallKicks was that tstew very early on got the cane in the chain chomp room, and so that just made a lot of his moves a lot easier compared to the things you were doing, and that really was the difference in this race.
Yeah, I mean, that's no big deal. Like, I felt like I was doing great otherwise, minus the Cane of Samaria. You know?
Nah, I totally agree with that. I mean, both of you guys are top runners, and it just, unfortunately, just that one check just made all the difference. But, that's Crosskeys. It happens like that.
Yep.
So you guys got your other races scheduled yet for this series?
We're racing tomorrow at the same time. We don't have a Game 3 scheduled yet.
All right, very nice. tstew, when you found that Cane of Samaria, were you thinking that was going to be something pretty big, given that that's kind of an annoying location to get back to if you don't do it quickly?
I thought it was kind of funny that it was in TR, but I didn't think that was going to be something you put off for that long, especially with an early fire rod.
See, I had found that TR entrance before I had anything, so I didn't go back until about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, it was actually really interesting, because if you follow the key logic, okay, so the dam is locked by the mitts, and the mitts is locked by 3 GT smalls, and one of the GT smalls was an Eastern. So the last GT small that was required for Moon Pearl to be in logic was in the front of Turtle Rock on the fire rod lock side. So that cane was actually technically, logically required to get the Moon Pearl even. But I think what really made the cane even more powerful is that the hook shot is what put that cane into logic, given that it was either hook shot or Moon Pearl locked. And the hook shot also locked the hammer and the mirror. So once you got the hook shot WallKicks, you just had so much other stuff to do rather than go back to get that one chest in TR.
Yeah, and I really wasn't interested in going back because, like you said, I had 500 million other things to do. But, that do be Crosskeys. GG's again to tstew. Like, that's a hell of a time to put up, considering, You have a lumberjack Ganon.
Yeah, GG's. I ended up skipping all of the eastern area, so that's a lot of time save.
Even so, like,
Yeah, and you also, just the way you routed through it, tstew, you got a lot of big keys in important times. Like, you had the Eastern big when you went over to do Ice Palace and Eastern for the first time. And if there was a couple, like having the Meyer big early as well, you were able to go in and do that with the cane. So there was also a lot of nice routing. I would have been curious to see how fast you would have been able to do the seed if it had just been like Kakariko well Ganon. But yeah, any closing thoughts before we close the stream today?
no, just thanks for the restream. GG's again, tstew. I'm looking forward to game 2 tomorrow.
Yep, GG's WallKicks. Yep, looking forward to the game too.
And as they were saying, that will be same time tomorrow, which will be 7 p.m. Eastern. I don't know if we have a restream set up for that or not, but please be sure to check out the Zelda Speedruns schedule. If that does get a restream, you'll certainly want to see game 2 of this.
I will definitely do my best to try and get that restream. Sorry, I forgot I was not listening to the live and didn't realize that we were almost done. With that, we are going to send a raid over to Zelda Speedruns 2, which we have another Crosskeys match going on. And so we will see you very soon here on ZSR. Thanks again for tuning in.